For 400 years, my children suffered in Egypt. What began as refuge became slavery. Pharaoh's whips fell upon their backs. Their cries rose to heaven, and I heard every single one. I saw their misery. I knew their pain, and I had already chosen their deliverer. He just didn't know it yet. When Pharaoh ordered all Hebrew baby boys killed, one mother made a desperate choice. She placed her infant son in a waterproof basket and set him adrift on the Nile. His sister Miriam watched from the reeds, and I guided that basket straight to the one place no one would dare harm him. Pharaoh's own daughter found the basket. She took the Hebrew baby as her son and named him Moses, for she drew him out of the water. Moses grew up in the palace, educated in all the wisdom of Egypt. But his destiny was not to be a prince. It was to be a deliverer. When Moses was grown, he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. In his anger, Moses killed the Egyptian. When Pharaoh heard, Moses fled for his life into the wilderness. For 40 years, the prince became a shepherd. But I was not finished with him. I was preparing him. One day, Moses saw something that made him stop. A bush was on fire, but it was not consumed. As he approached, I called out to him. Moses asked, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" I told him I would be with him. "But who shall I say sent me?" he asked. "Tell them I am has sent you. I am who I am, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Go, I will be your mouth and teach you what to say." Moses returned to Egypt with his brother Aaron. They stood before Pharaoh and declared, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go." Pharaoh laughed. "Who is this Lord that I should obey him? I do not know your God, and I will not let Israel go." "Very well, Pharaoh, you will know me soon." I turned the Nile to blood. Pharaoh's heart was hard. I sent frogs covering every surface. Still he refused. Gnats, then flies, then disease upon the livestock. Pharaoh would not yield. Boils broke out on every Egyptian. Hail destroyed the crops. Locusts devoured what remained. Each plague a judgment on Egypt's false gods. I stretched out my hand, and darkness fell upon Egypt. For 3 days no one could see their neighbor. Darkness so thick it could be felt. Yet in the homes of the Israelites there was light. Pharaoh still refused. One more plague remained, the most terrible of all, the death of the firstborn. I told Moses, "This night I will pass through Egypt. Every firstborn will die. But you, Israel, take a lamb without blemish, kill it, and put its blood on the doorposts. When I see the blood, I will pass over you. Death will not touch those covered by the blood of the Lamb." At midnight, I struck down every firstborn in Egypt. From Pharaoh's palace to the prisoner's dungeon, a great cry arose. There was not a house without someone dead. But in every home marked with blood, there was peace. The lamb had died so that the firstborn might live. Pharaoh called for Moses in the night. "Go," he cried. "Leave my people. Take your flocks, take your herds, and be gone. After 400 years, my people walked out of Egypt, not as slaves, but as a free nation. They plundered Egypt as they left, just as I had promised. But Pharaoh changed his mind. He gathered his chariots, 600 of the best, and pursued Israel. The people saw the Egyptian army coming and cried out in fear. "Were there no graves in Egypt that you brought us here to die?" But I said to Moses, "Tell them to move forward." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea. I sent a strong east wind that blew all night. The waters divided. They stood up like walls on both sides, and dry ground appeared in the middle. My people walked through the sea on dry land. A pillar of fire stood between them and the Egyptians. When all Israel had crossed, the Egyptians followed into the sea. I told Moses to stretch out his hand again. The waters came crashing down. Every chariot, every horse, every soldier was swept away. Not one survived. Egypt's army destroyed in a moment. This is what happens when anyone stands against my children. On the other shore, Moses and the people sang, "I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and rider he has thrown into the sea." Miriam took a tambourine, and all the women danced. Freedom, victory, a new nation was born that day on the shores of the sea. I led my people through the wilderness with a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. When they thirsted, I gave them water from a rock. When they hungered, I rained bread from heaven. I was teaching them to trust me one day at a time. I was preparing them for something greater. At Mount Sinai, thunder rolled and lightning flashed. The mountain trembled and was covered in smoke. I descended in fire. I called Moses to the top of the mountain. There I gave him my law, the 10 Commandments, written by my own finger on tablets of stone, a covenant between me and my people. Everything I did through Moses pointed to something greater. The Passover lamb foreshadowed the true Lamb who would take away the sins of the world. The blood on the doorposts pointed to the blood that would save all who believe. Moses was great, but one greater than Moses was coming. The story of the Exodus is not just history. It is my promise to you. When you are enslaved, I will set you free. When enemies pursue you, I will make a way where there is no way. I am the same God who parted the sea. And nothing can stand against my love for you. Until we speak again, beloved child.